Thanks for watching. I'm trying to get a little variety in here, just to that's what this video is about, mostly. I watched Michael French's video yesterday about the death of nostalgia, and I agree with him. Now some people are going to be like, well, of course you do. You got your nose stuck on Michael's ass. Oh, no, I like Michael. I talk to him on occasion. I do consider him somewhat friendly, a friend. And the video spoke to me because today, my wife's birthday, we went out, got a really nice lunch. We had to do our grocery shopping, of course, so we decided to do that. And of course, when I'm doing my grocery shopping, I just look around at the toys. It's pretty damn rare I buy anything anymore. But what caught me was the lack of variety, and we were in a neighboring town, not the town we normally go to, better restaurants in the neighboring town. And what caught me was, I realized, because I used to hang around this town a lot, and there wasn't a lot of variety anymore. Used to be, for toys, there was a Kmart, there was a small chain called Rose's, there was a small chain called Magic Mart. All of those are local to me. There was the Walmart, of course. There was a comic book shop, which dealt with toys, and a couple other things. So in this today, I went around these old places. First off, the GameStop is gone. Obviously, Kmart is gone. There's an Ollie's there now that replaces the Big Lots. But the smaller chains, the smaller local chains are gone now. And I miss them because those were really cool. Those were like going into a combination Walmart Big Lots. You'd get both sides of it. Was really strange and really awesome at the same time. You found shit you could never find anywhere else there in those places. A lot of my Star Wars Legacy figures came from Magic Mart, in fact, because they would get waves in and nobody else would get them. It's wild. But trying to get back to where I'm going is I noticed there is a whole big lack of variety. The comic shop is leaning heavily into gaming now, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I understand if you go where the money is, and he always had a very strong gaming community in his shop. So I can see why he leaned heavily into games after the comic industry has basically gone to shit. He still carries back issues, but for the most part, new stuff he's not carrying because new comics are not selling. He told me bluntly, new comics don't sell very often. I got a few that will buy them, but there's not enough for me to keep them on the shelves. That's sobering. There was, and he had some toys in there, but he said that market is dying out now. The new toys moderately sell. He'll get some older ones that can sell. He can sell like Lord of the Rings pretty easily. He'll get some old G.I. Joes from time to time and sell through those. Some old Transformers. But for the most part, he can't get rid of toys. He has a real hard time getting rid of them. So he doesn't really deal with them as often as he did. Gundam models would be the exception, but that's a whole different category again. That's not the same thing as action figures. So where I was at, the only two places to really look for toys was Ollie's, Walmart. And I'm like, when did this happen? And I think I've come to the realization is that it happened because everything else got gobbled up. Let's look for a second. Okay, Sears gobbled up Kmart, and then it crashed. There's no more Kmart. Now, would Kmart have crashed anyway? Hard to say. Some say yes, some say no. But that's the fact. Kmart crashed. Those two small chains I told you, Rose's and Magic Mart, they got wiped out by Walmart. Kind of see where this is going. The comic shop holds on because it, you know, they, again, back issues mainly, and games. Those are things keeping them afloat. Hey, I can understand that. So when you look at those dynamics, and then you think about these little pieces of plastic we love, it's kind of like, he's got a point. Because I'm looking at it too. I do have a bunch of figures I need to go through and do videos on. But dude, if these leak lists are true, I'm barely buying anything the next year. Barely. You know, Marvel Rivals, I'm not knocking it for you people who love it. I'm not into games with microtransactions to get skins and stuff. So, I'm not really digging that, and I'm not really getting into it. That's me, for myself. So that knocks a whole lot out. I have no interest in MCU figures anymore. I mean, I never say never ever because I wanted Korg, because I knew we weren't going to get a comic Korg, and I wanted Rintra because I knew we would never get a comic Rintra. So I did buy those MCU figures, but honestly, past that, I don't see me going further than that. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. But you know, from what I'm seeing on MCU now, there's a few in the comic continuity. Rachel Summers, of course. Hell, I might buy Farrell. I'm buying so little. I mean, I might just do that for shits and giggles. I mean, it's really, really, really thin. I'm talking damn anorexic. And I have zero interest in a monster truck of Ghostbusters. I don't hate Ghostbusters. I don't love Ghostbusters. You know, I mean, Ghostbusters is a good movie, but I think it's a one and done. Everything else after that has just been like, whatever. You know, I didn't even like the cartoon show that much. Sorry for those that did. But at the same time, I'm really thinking about what Michael's saying about nostalgia. We're at the point that nostalgia died. I'm like, God, he's right. He's dead on. Because let's face it, loyal subjects doing mask? Come on. And some people are clamoring for it and will put down any amount of money for it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Fool and his money is parted. There's this Magic the Gathering crossover. I mean, I might have bought Man-Wolf if it wasn't for that, because I ain't paying no $40 for a fucking Man-Wolf. No. You know? I might even pay $30 for that MJ as Iron Spider. But I ain't paying no $40 for it. That's ridiculous. Forget it with the Battle Damon Spider-Man. Of course, everybody lined up, grabbed that one. Unfortunately, I will pay extra for Doom at $20.99 if he's done right. If he's done crappy, I might pass. We'll see how that goes. But I have worked very, very hard to regain a lot of the characters in my collection I wanted. And I have to say, with the exceptions of some that have not been made yet, I've got them. You know, Marvel Rivals, I mean, I'll take a look at your Punisher, but I'm not going to make a promise. And I admit, just from the skin pictures I've seen of Moon Knight, he does look pretty good. But I have 3 damn Moon Knights. Do I really need a 4th? No. It's funny because 2 years ago I was begging for them to do a Moon Knight. And they basically just redid the last 2 and then gave me a 3rd one. Okay. Got my Moon Knight now. So I guess the big question is, where do we go from here? With me, I'm sticking with Action Force and Animal Warriors of the Kingdom if they ever put out anything else. And occasional Marvel Legends. I won't say never ever on any Black Series, but it's going to be few and far between, and it'll probably be on clearance at Ollie's. I have nothing I need in Masters of the Universe at this point. Nothing. And, you know, occasional indie stuff. You know, random stuff. An orc. A werewolf. If I see something cool and I think it's a good... Not overpriced. Keep in mind. I mean, I'm still going to be buying some Savage Crucible. Knock him in there. Need to do a video on this bad boy. But, yeah. It's... And I mean, it's a little disheartening. And it's a little relieving. And I know some people are going to sit there, no man, nostalgia and everything. You're not following what is being said. This generation's nostalgia is dead. There is a next generation. But here's the problem. You're not going to be nostalgic for G.I. Joe and Star Wars. They're going to want other shit. Now, I understand Black Series collectors are really happy with what's coming out, and great on you. That's good. I'm more vintage anyway. And I honestly feel like my vintage collection might be done. I'm still going to get Balin Skull because I thought he was a cool character. And, you know, I won't say never ever to vintage, but there's not much in that scale I need to get. I got everything. And there's not new, you know, they put out new stuff and I'm like, whatever. You know, I'm not too interested. So, where am I going with all this? The main places I'm going is they really need to work harder to get my money. Because, yeah, I'm slowly, surely backing into the bushes, like Homer Simpson. Does that mean I'm done collecting? Hell no. I've got a shit ton of figures I need to make videos of, and in some way, shape, or form. And once I do that, I've got a ton of other shit I can do. So it's not like, you know, oh, your channel's ending. No. It's not. It's changing because I'm changing. And you know what? It should change because we all change. If you've been on I almost said Facebook, sorry about that. If you are on YouTube for more than a year and you don't change in that amount of time, there's something on you. Because every damn one of us go through some differences and changes in our lives. Or we should. As was said, we should mature. You know, realize that, yeah, I'm not going to get along with everybody, but you know what? I don't have to act like an asshat in public about it. I mean, seriously. If you don't change in all this time, what's that say? I mean, I've got most of the wrestlers I've ever wanted. I mean, that was finite to begin with. I said when I started getting these Mattel Elites and Ultimates, I was like, there's only so many I want. And I don't like a lot of the new guys, the current guys. AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes are it. The rest, all classics. I'll go after classics and I'll enjoy them. But, you know, they've almost farmed me out of all of my favorites. So it's like, but I always said it was going to be a finite amount. I never once started collecting wrestling figures thinking I was going to catch them all and get them all. Never. I'm very selective on that one, and they pump out enough freaking figures that I don't need to worry about it. In fact, I got 2 Elite Stone Cold Steve Austins and decided I didn't need the Ultimate. I mean, I just need some visual representation, some iconography. I'll start using that word more. Iconography, which is what my motivation is. I needed some iconography for Stone Cold. That's it, and I got it now. So there is no requirement of me to go out and get more. I don't have to have every Stone Cold. Although I still get tempted by that Ultimate. It's a good looking Ultimate, I have to admit. Yeah, you can go a lot. You can do a lot with some of these wrestling characters. I probably need to get a John Cena, but there's probably going to be a million of those soon, so I'm not even going to worry about it. So yeah, what does this mean for collecting? For me personally, it just means a shift to different stuff, and that happens. That happens all the time. It's what happened whenever G.I. Joe Retaliation bombed. I just focused somewhere else, and then I focused somewhere else, and you know, and that's barring any economic hard times, which I did have at that point. So, you know, but I got my Legends collection back, and I'm happy with that. I've got my Legends collection back and more. I actually was looking around at it yesterday. I was like, wow, I did it. And I added to it. That's fucking amazing. I didn't think that would happen. And I'm glad it did. But you gotta ask yourself, why are you collecting? What makes you happy? And are you willing to admit when you've hit that point where it's like, okay, I got what I need, and that's enough. Or at least cut back when there's just not as much out there for you. That's a hard one with collectors. Very difficult. But that's okay. There's no lines here. There is just discovery of where it sits. And where are you going to sit? Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. Help the algorithm promote my channel. Because I think this is interesting shit. Later, guys.